Welcome to our channel Crime Loom, the place where true crime stories come alive.
In the middle of World War II, while bombs fell from the sky and London struggled to survive, another danger was hiding in the darkness. The city was covered by blackout rules. Streets were silent, lights were turned off, and shadows filled every corner. People feared air raids, but they did not know that a killer was walking among them. This story is about a man who looked respectable and trustworthy. He wore the uniform of a hero. He spoke politely and smiled eyes. People believed he was safe, but behind that calm appearance was a violent mind filled with cruelty. His name was Gordon Cummins, and history would remember him as the Blackout Ripper. In just a few weeks, he turned wartime London into a place of terror. He used the darkness, the fear, and the chaos of war to hide his crimes. His victims never saw danger coming, because he did not look like a monster. He looked like a man people trusted. This is the true story of how one man used the shadows of war to become one of Britain's most notorious killers. Gordon Cummins was a man who lived two very different lives. To the outside world, he appeared confident, well-spoken, and respectable. He wore the uniform of the Royal Air Force and walked the streets of London like any other serviceman during World War II. But behind that appearance was the violent and dangerous mind that would turn him into one of the most feared criminals in British history. He was born in Edinburgh, Scotland, in 1914. His childhood did not stand out as especially violent or troubled. He was intelligent and ambitious, and he wanted more from life than what he was given. As he grew older, he learned how to speak well, dress smartly, and impress people around him. These skills helped him gain trust easily. People often described him as charming and confident. No one suspected what he was capable of becoming. When World War II began, Gordon Cummins joined the Royal Air Force. The uniform gave him status and authority. During this time, London was under constant threat from German air raids. To protect the city, strict blackout rules were enforced at night. Street lights were turned off, windows were covered, and the city became dark and quiet after sunset. These conditions made it easier for people to hide, and much harder for police to see what was happening. Cummins was stationed in London in 1942. He lived in a hotel and spent his free time drinking, socializing, and meeting women. He often visited bars and clubs, where he appeared friendly and polite. Women felt safe around him because he was an RAF officer. That trust became his greatest weapon. In February 1942, the first known attack took place. A woman named Margaret Lowe was walking with Cummins when he suddenly attacked her. He stabbed her and left her badly injured, but she survived. She later gave police an important description of her attacker. At the time, police did not yet realize they were dealing with a serial killer. Just days later, another woman named Evelyn Hamilton was murdered in her home. The crime scene shocked investigators. She had been brutally stabbed and mutilated. The violence was extreme and personal. Police believed the killer knew the victim or had gained her trust. This murder marked the beginning of a short but terrifying killing spree. As the days passed, Cummins continued his attacks. He targeted women who were alone, often prostitutes, because he believed their disappearances would not be taken seriously. He met them in bars or on the streets and offered companionship. Once he had them alone, he attacked with sudden and overwhelming violence. One of the most disturbing murders was that of Doris Johannet. She was found dead in her room, stabbed repeatedly. The level of violence suggested deep anger and hatred. Investigators began to see a pattern. The killer struck quickly, used knives, and left behind scenes that showed extreme cruelty. Another victim, Dorothy O'Neill, was attacked but survived. She managed to escape and later identified Cummins as her attacker. Her testimony became one of the most important pieces of evidence in the case. London was already living in fear because of the war, but now there was another terror walking the streets. Newspapers began to report on the murders, though details were limited to avoid panic. The public started to realize that someone was using the blackout to hunt victims. The killer was soon given a nickname by the press, the Blackout Ripper. Police launched a massive investigation. Detectives worked long hours, questioning witnesses and tracking movements across the city. The blackout made their work much harder. There were few reliable sightings, and many crimes happened in complete darkness. The case began to break open when survivors came forward. Margaret Lowe and Dorothy O'Neill both described a man who appeared polite, well-dressed, and confident. They also mentioned his RAF uniform. This detail narrowed the search. Police also examined forensic evidence. One important clue came from a gas mask cord found at one crime scene. This cord was a standard issue item for RAF personnel. Investigators traced it back to a specific type issued to certain units. Cummins was arrested in February 1942. At first, he remained calm and confident. He believed his charm and intelligence would protect him. During questioning, however, police confronted him with witness statements and physical evidence. Slowly, his confidence began to fade. When police searched his belongings, they found items that linked him directly to the crimes. Tools and weapons matched the injuries found on the victims. Witnesses positively identified him. The evidence was overwhelming. At his trial, Cummins showed little emotion. He pleaded not guilty, but the court quickly saw through his defense. Survivors testified about the attacks. Forensic experts explained how the evidence matched his tools. The jury took only a short time to reach a verdict. He was found guilty of the murder of Evelyn Hamilton. Under British law at the time, one murder conviction was enough to carry the death penalty. He was sentenced to death by hanging. On June 25, 1942, Gordon Cummins was executed at Wandsworth Prison. He was 28 years old. His execution brought relief to a city already exhausted by war and fear. The case left a lasting mark on British criminal history. It showed how dangerous trust can be when placed in the wrong person. It also revealed how wartime conditions created opportunities for crime. The blackout that protected London from bombs also hid a killer in its shadows. Even today, the story of Gordon Cummins remains chilling. He was not a monster hiding in darkness. He was a man who blended in, smiled easily, and wore a uniform meant to represent safety and honor. His crimes remind people that evil does not always look frightening at first glance. His short reign of terror lasted only weeks, but the fear he created stayed much longer. The Blackout Ripper became a symbol of how chaos and war can expose the darkest sides of human nature. The story of Gordon Cummins ended on the gallows, but the fear he created did not disappear so easily. London continued to fight the war, but people never forgot how close danger had been, hiding in plain sight. His crimes showed that darkness is not only something caused by blackouts or bombings, but something that can exist inside a human mind. He was not stopped by bravery or honor, even though he wore a uniform meant to represent both. He was stopped by the voices of survivors, by careful police work, and by the truth that always leaves traces behind. The women who lived through his attacks helped bring an end to his violence, and their courage should never be forgotten. This case remains a powerful reminder that evil does not always announce itself. Sometimes it speaks softly, smiles politely, and walks beside its victims before striking. The Blackout Ripper used the chaos of war to hide, but in the end, he could not escape justice. As history moves forward, his name stands as a warning. Even in the darkest times, truth finds a way into the light.
For watching more amazing videos like this, subscribe our channel Crime Loom.